educational content and book content. And yeah, I haven't made videos in a long time because I've been busy with work and grad school and all the things. But today I'm gonna update everybody on what I've been reading, what I've liked, what I didn't like. Um, so yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so far I think I've read 8 books. Um, these are the physical books I've read, and then I have some audiobooks and then a couple on Kindle, I think. So I'm gonna pull up my Goodreads account and we'll start from the beginning of the year. And I believe the first book I read this year. Oh, I forgot about that book. Okay, the first book that I read this year was Beyond Possible by Nims. He has a documentary on Netflix called 14 Peaks. His documentary, I don't know, I think in 2020 or 2021. I don't know. It's been out for a while. And so ever since then, I really wanted to read his book, and I got it for Christmas. So that was the first thing I picked up this year. Um, let me tell you, he is a very, very accomplished man. However, I think that his writing came off very like egotistical. And he he accomplished a lot. So it's like it's hard to really judge him for like writing like that, but I guess it was just kind of weird. Like he's like, "Oh, I'm the best," and that's just kind of how his writing came off. And I did read the whole thing because it's really fascinating reading about someone's journey, um, like climbing all these mountains, like Mount Everest and K2, and all these mountains that I would never ever attempt. I love hiking and outdoors activities, but this is just not something in my realm of things that I want to accomplish in my life. So, um, with that being said, I feel like one of the things that people like when they read memoirs is they like being able to kind of connect, like, um, the humanness of, I don't know if humanness is the word, of somebody, and I feel like Nims didn't do that. He makes himself be this superhuman person, and um, there's not a lot of, in my opinion, there wasn't a lot of struggle. He talks about a little bit of struggles growing up, like, he had to work to be able to join um, the the special forces, and like who doesn't, I feel like. So that's my take on Beyond Possible, but it was still interesting to read about like his journey. Okay, the next book I am going to talk about is Into Thin Air by John Krakauer, and I didn't read the whole thing. I was kind of on a Mount Everest kick. Because there is a movie on Netflix, I think it's just called Everest, and that um, adaptation does a really good job of kind of projecting this book. So I did kind of skim it and like read some of it, but the movie does a really good job, I feel like. However, like I said, I didn't like read the whole thing. Um, very, very interesting. I love reading about other people's stories, as you will kind of get to see. Yeah, I don't really have a ton to say about this, although I when I picked up this book, I thought that John Krakauer just interviewed these people and didn't, and then was able to write Into Thin Air about um, their journey. But he actually went on the expedition with them. So I don't know. Also, by the way, John Krakauer is a journalist. Um, so that's why I thought that it was really cool that he actually went on the expedition because he is he's a journalist. He's not necessarily this mountaineer. Um, anyways, fascinating hearing about people's encounter on Mount Everest. Okay, the next one is A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson. And this is about his experience on the Appalachian Trail. Appalachian Trail. And I read this as an audiobook and I loved it. I love, like I said, I love hearing about other people's experiences. I there were this is was written in the 90s, so there were a couple times where he said things that I was like, I'd fly today. But other than that, um it was just it was cool to hear about his experience hiking the Appalachian Trail. And also he has this friend, Cats, that is like hilarious. I'm like, is this a real person? And obviously it is because this is like a memoir book. But yeah, it's he was hilarious. And I don't know if the audiobook was read by Bill Bryson himself or um like a voice actor, but the audiobook was great. Sometimes I feel like audiobooks are just like you never know kind of what you're going to get with an audiobook, but this the whatever version of the audiobook that I read was really good. The next one is Everything is Tuberculosis, the history and persistence of our deadliest infection by John Green. This is his newest release, I believe, and it just came out this year. I just popped into a bookstore and picked this up, and then I read it in like 2 days, because it's pretty short. So this book delves into tuberculosis in an easy, digestible way where someone like me who knows not really anything about it is able to kind of read and understand something. We start with kind of this history of how we see it written in literature and then also how it's treated throughout the world and how money might play a part in that treatment, um, and things like that. I don't want to give too much away. There are a couple of really sad parts in here, even with it being so short, but I think he did a really good job touching the surface with this. Then on audiobook, I read Sociopath by Patrick Gang, and the audiobook was read by her. She is a, PhD. Did she get her PhD or was she just a PhD student when she wrote the book? I don't remember. But basically, she tells her experience about how she came to um, get her diagnosis as a sociopath and how it was growing up, um, not experiencing feelings, and it was really interesting. Um, I don't feel like I could relate to her in any way at all, and um, sometimes I wish I could care less about people's feelings, but I don't. So that was really interesting hearing that perspective that she just doesn't care about anybody's feelings. Um, and I was like, that's fascinating. I, yeah, but she really tried hard to connect with people and care about other people. Um, and she realized that there's just not treatment out there for her. Um, and so that's why she went on to get her PhD. And yeah, it was quite the journey. Okay, the next book my dog ate. But it's called Valentine, by Elizabeth Wetmore. And I have been wanting to read this for a long time. I saved it to read in in February. um, because I thought it was gonna be about Valentine's, I guess. I don't know, I don't really read book descriptions that often. Um, it's definitely not. It's definitely a summer read. Um, Literary fiction. Um, but let me tell you, I have never read um a book that has been written in this uh like writing style before. There's a dialogue, but it's not in quotes. And I don't know, it was just so interesting, and it was like it wasn't hard to read. I feel like sometimes if the dialogue isn't in quotes, you're like, I don't know who's talking, but it wasn't. You could always tell who was talking and who they were talking to. Also, it was from different points of view. Um, each chapter was from a different character's perspective. Explored some stigmas and oppressions that women might be facing in that time period. I think it was the 1960s. So, yeah, 50s to 60s, where, um, it was some women might be wanting to have a job, but the men wanted them to stay at home, and things like that. And it was kind of a hard read. There were some um, things that you might want to look up with the trigger warnings, but it was um very interesting read. I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for a different literary fiction book. Also, I was surprised to see that on Goodreads there was hardly any well, there's 43,000 ratings, but it seemed like not many people reviewed it since 4 or 5 years ago. So, um, yeah, I was glad that I was able to pick this up and read it. All right, looking at Goodreads, the next book I read was called The American Housewives by Anita Abreu. I read this on Kindle Unlimited. I don't really know what to say about that. Yeah, 2 stars for me. That's all I have to say. So I also on Kindle Unlimited read The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This has been a book that people either love or hate. I thought it was great, personally. I thought, trying to pull up my, no, 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 don't remove it. Trying to pull up my, no, Goodreads review, and it's telling me to remove it. But, um, okay, well, that's cool. Anyways, I thought it was great with the plot twist, and, um, there were some parts in it that were like like kind of weird underlying tone that I don't really want to get into right now, but like that were just but like it's whatever. It was a fun little read. Like it took like 2 days to read, which is um always fun when you can read something really fast, especially if you're a slow reader like me. Um yeah, people either love or hate that. I think people don't like that it's not like good quality writing or something. But I feel like not everything has to be good quality. Like it can just be fun sometimes. Okay, yeah. The latest book I read was My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. And can we just appreciate this cover for a minute? Like, there's so much going on. I think the vibe right here is supposed to be like it's supposed to be an old um, VHS tape. Pretty cool. So, I really enjoyed this book. It was definitely a horror book, but at the same time, it wasn't like gonna keep you up at night. This there were some hilarious parts, there were some serious parts, and like every once in a while, it would be like, I can't decide if Ed and Lorraine Warren should show up at this moment or if we're in this scary movie franchise right now. Like it kept going back and forth between like, oh my gosh, this is like a really serious, like scary movie, or this is like one of those silly parody movies. Um, I really enjoyed it. I think I would give it 5 stars. However, okay, here comes the spoiler. Um, a star gets taken away because the dog dies, and I feel like that was really unnecessary. And that's how I feel about that. I haven't given my review on Goodreads yet, but I don't know. I'm going back and forth because I really enjoyed this book. I read it in a couple days. Um, I don't know. It was so fun to read, but like the dog dying was so unnecessary. Anyways, that's how I feel about that. And I like seriously a whole star being taken away for that. Um, so that's how I feel about. Okay, those are the books that have been read so far this year, and I am definitely gonna read more. Right now I just started just for the summer on Kindle Unlimited, and I don't really have like a TBR in mind right now. I'm just kind of going on vibes. So, yeah, I have some books on hold at the library that I really want to read because I don't really want to commit to buying them. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of going off vibes and how I feel, and also trying to read what I have like at my house instead of buying a whole bunch of stuff right now. So, yeah. Anyways, if you watched all that, thanks for watching. Let me know what your favorite book that you've read so far this year is. And if you haven't read a book so far this year, I hope that you read one. Okay, bye.